Hello and welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 276. I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
And I'm Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. It is Wednesday, November the 25th, the day before U.S. Thanksgiving. Um,
Yes,
I We're recording late because Laura went to spend some time with her family while she had time off school.
that's true. I have this
And
whole week off. It's amazing. I've never had the whole week off before.
yeah, that's pretty cool though.
They got rid of our fall break and now I have the whole week off. So we lost like 2 days there and they just added it on here.
I say
'Cause
that's
usually
better though. You get the whole
it's
week.
different. Yeah. Oh, I'm on board with it. Although I did miss that time, like after Spinzilla.
Yeah.
That I could chill. So we'll see what they do next year, because they might change their minds. But anyway, what's going
Um,
on? What you knitting on?
I'm counting, so why don't you go first?
Okay, because I'm just knitting around and around and around on
And
a sleeve.
chatting and chatting.
Yeah, so I am knitting on Grace. It is.
You sound so happy about that. I'm not done with this yet.
I'm knitting on Grace. Well, I have a dilemma. I'll go into my dilemma in details. So this is Grace. It is a sweater by Jane Richmond. It has one whole sleeve, and anytime I decreased, I marked it with a stitch marker, and then I left my stitch markers here, so I had to go buy some because Mom doesn't like those kind of. I don't know. I like my preference is these little metal stitch ones because they are skinnier.
The bulb ones, yeah.
Yes, they are coilless safety pins, and they look like that. And they are skinnier than the plastic ones that Clover makes. But beggars can't be choosers, and so Mom had a couple, and so I just bought her a replacement packet, so now she has a lot of things that she never uses. So this is the first sleeve, and I just started the second sleeve, so it's not very far along. It's got 3 decreases done. So I have like 20 more inches to go on that second sleeve. And all the yarn that and the button bands and the neck band to do. Like, you pick up around the entire
Mm-hmm.
and knit for 5 rows. And this is how much yarn I have left.
Well, you'll definitely get the
So,
sleeve done.
yes. So the first sleeve took approximately 70 grams, I think. It's hard because I was using leftovers and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't weigh my first bit of mesh leftovers, but I think, and I didn't weigh this because I was on the road, before I started knitting off of it. So I was at 87 grams off of this when I started the second sleeve. So I'm thinking the first sleeve took around 70 grams. So hopefully I'll have enough.
And
I'll
you've
have
got your
like,
swatch that you can fall back on if you're super
yes,
desperate.
I do have the swatch. So I have a large swatch that I can fall back on too. But like, I don't know. I had 100 extra yards over what the largest size called for. And I'm not doing the largest size. And I might run out of yarn. And because this is the lovely Plucky Knitter in the Barn Door colorway, and it's gorgeous and I love it, but I'm not going to be able to get more.
I'll bet if you asked our viewers if anybody had leftovers from a skein, I bet.
Well, we'll cross that bridge when I come to it. Because, well, she didn't do this colorway for a long time, I guess.
We
And
also
then
have a
she,
lot of viewers, though.
I know.
I would put it out there that somebody's got some if you absolutely run
If
out.
I need some later, I'm gonna work on this week and hopefully get it done, or as far as I possibly can. It's a Harry Potter House Cup owl, so it's supposed to be done by Monday. But if I run out of yarn, obviously that's not gonna work. Um, and that's why normally if I was running into the situation, I'm like, this seems tight. I would do 3/4 sleeves and save the yarn there. But part of the House Cup thing for Muggle studies is that it's got to be a full length sleeved sweater.
Hmm.
So, a wrist length sleeved sweater. So, I can't do that. But anyway, that is my dilemma, and I'm refusing to stress about it. Although I have caught myself knitting faster in the thought that I use less yarn when I knit
If you
faster.
knit really quick, you'll finish without realizing you're out of yarn.
Yeah. Um, So hopefully, but between the big swatch and like if I have 10 grams left over, I think that'll be enough. I have hopes. Um, I don't know if that's really true, but I do have hopes that will happen. So that is the first thing on my needles, and that is living in my library card bag from Amy Beth of the Fat Squirrel. She's having an update this Saturday. Did you see what they are?
For Small Business Saturday?
Yes.
No.
They're narwhals. They're knitted narwhals.
Do not get me a narwhal bag.
I wasn't going to get you a narwhal bag.
Well, then you can buy whatever you want for yourself.
Leslie loves narwhals. They're her favorite.
I didn't know they were real. Sorry, they don't look real to me. It's a whale with a big ass tooth. Doesn't look real. Looks like a unicorn. I don't know why that's real. And Laura thinks it's okay to laugh at me because I totally thought they were fake.
Here's why I think it's so funny, because you are so smart and you never get anything wrong, and you know so much more than me.
That is total bullcrap, by the way.
And you know so much more than me. So because you got this one thing wrong, it just makes me giggle every single time because it's such like a weird
They
thing.
don't look real. It's like somebody saying Frosty the Snowman grants wishes, and you're just expected to believe it. Like, oh yeah, narwhals are real. I went and looked it up on Wikipedia, and I was like, somebody punked Wikipedia because narwhals are up there as a real thing. I don't get it. Like, what evolutionary track created a narwhal? Anyway.
I'm gonna, I'm crying. I'm laughing so hard. All right. So back to me, because I do have one other thing on the needles. I am knitting on size 0 needles. I have no idea what's going on. Oh, apparently I stopped in the middle of a row, as you do. I'm knitting some Arnie and Carlo socks. And they are toe up. And they're not very
those are crazy colorful.
I know. It was fun. So the toe's done, and like maybe 2 inches of the foot is done. And they are 60 stitches around. And I was knitting on these the other night at basketball. And that's the only love that they've gotten, because working 60-hour weeks 2 weeks in a row, which is me being super whiny, because I know there's people who do it all the time, but like for 2 weeks.
Not for your salary.
It was rough. Super rough. But I'm done with that for right now. And I'm using Eddie Turbo Sock Rockets in the zeros. And I did not say, but my Grace cardigan is being knit on 2.5 or 3 millimeters. And this is in another Amy Beth bag. It's a Christmas bag. Or a winter holiday type bag. Winter bag. How about that? 'Cause it doesn't really have presents or anything. It's just snow and trees and happiness. So those are the two things that I am knitting on right now. The Grace by Jane Richmond in Plucky Feet on size 2.5s, and the size 0 Arnie and Carlos socks. And that's it. That's all I got. Now it's your turn. I really want to get you a narwhal bag. I wasn't going to, but now I really do.
So I've got a ton of random stuff going on because it's been like a week and a half.
You sound so put out now.
I'm just like, I'm anticipating people trying to be nice and giving information on the Ravelry board about narwhals and the evolution, and it just makes me feel stupid that I didn't realize this thing existed.
It's one thing. So smart. That's why I think it's so funny, because you're so smart all the time and you know all the things.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's true, but
This is a little blonde moment.
I have got 1, 2, 3, 4 things sort of actively I'm working on. The first, sorry, I've got 2 more stitches before the end of the row. Okay, so the first, Rachel Coopy of Coop Knits has started her branded yarn line. And it's called Soxia.
Super cute.
And it's a merino nylon blend, 75/25. You can get it for £5 50, I think, on her website, which I've linked. And they come in 231 yards. I don't know how many grams.
Like 50 gram skeins, I would say.
That would be my guess, but it's not listed on here with a gram weight, so I can't say for sure. But you need 2 for a pair of socks.
Unless you got really tiny feet.
Yeah, and you're making anklets. So I wound this on a Nostipin because I was too lazy to stand up and wind it on my ball and set everything up for my ball winder and Swift. And I was just watching TV anyway. So this is the, let's see what color it is. This is called Beryl. It's color 107. I guess you can't really see it. It's really, in some ways it kind of reminds me of the way that Loft, how Jared Flood makes his colors by mixing plies together to sort of create that heathered look. So this is blue, but it's got little pops of like pink in the ply if you're looking for it. Real faint though.
So I think it's more of a heathered type approach to yarn in general.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be solid.
They're not like super bright.
Mm-hmm.
They're solid. They're solids in that they act like a solid. Like when you knit with them, you can see the pattern clearly.
Well, yes, but I guess I mean the yarn, like you said, the yarn itself, it's not a solid blue. Like it's got heather bits with gray, and mine has pink in it. I don't know why it's not focusing. There we go. Anyway, you can check it out on our website.
Can you see it better on the sock, maybe?
Well, no, because this is all I've
got.
Oh. So I just cast this on.
Guess not.
I'm using 2.25 millimeter US size 1s, and I thought to go with Rachel Coopy yarn, we needed Rachel Coopy socks.
Yes, it's a great book.
So when I'm searching for a new pattern, I love the Ravelry Advanced Pattern Search. And I try always to first search for things that are in my library. Next, I search for things that are not in my library, but they're in my queue, because I want to try to work through some of those things that I've got queued.
Because you know you like them.
Right.
Yeah.
And
total sense.
What I decided to go with was Pennycrest. Let me show you a better picture of the socks. It's a very simple lace pattern. I chose it because the lace will be stretchy. Because it's almost like a rib, the way that the lace is set up.
Yeah.
So it'll add some stretch to it. And I wanted something not plain stockinette, but still not too crazy difficult where I needed to look at a chart every row.
Yeah.
So this is in her original Coop Knit Socks book, which was published in, I want to say, 2013.
She's got that one, and then she's got socks too, correct?
Yes. And she's got Toasty. Yeah, this was in 2013. And it comes with a digital download code, so I downloaded the digital copy as well.
Oh, look at you, so fancy.
So that's the first thing. Just started it, so I really can't give you any information on it. Let's see what's next on my...
What needles are you using with it? Because it seems like it's a little bit skinnier.
It is, and I went up a needle size from what it called for, and I'm making the largest size. So if they don't fit me, they'll fit somebody else. They might go to Mama Linneman, you know, because she's got narrow feet.
She does have narrow feet.
Let's see. The next thing is I'm still swatching for Recoleta, which is a sweater.
Locatelli sweater, right?
Hoagie Locatelli. Sorry, I've got like a whole ton of crap down here. And I'm swatching out of the Cloudborne Highland Worsted, which is a Craftsy yarn. And it's new. I'm using size 8s to swatch now. Last week I swatched with 7s. And it calls for a gauge, the sweater calls for a gauge of 17.5 stitches across 4 inches. So I went up 1 needle size, and I got 19 stitches after blocking across 4 inches. So clearly I didn't go up enough. So I went up another needle size to size 8s and blocked it this morning. It's still wet, so I haven't measured yet to see if I've gotten gauge.
It's a worsted weight, right?
It is a worsted weight.
Okay.
So I really don't want to go any higher than 8. So I'm hoping if I don't get gauge on it, then I'll just do the math to adjust for an 8, because I don't want it to be so large where I can see through the stitches. So I don't want to go any bigger than this. So I'm working on that. I've done 2 swatches so far. Hopefully the second one will be better. I am also, Laura and I both got these kits for these.
Mine's sitting here.
Adornment.
Yes, they're by Laura Nelkin.
Yeah, they're beaded beaded
Ornaments.
snowflake ornaments.
And she does another one that are more like bulbs, but we both like the stars,
Yeah.
so we went with it.
And
They're
there's
like
3
stars
different patterns in here. I'm doing the Stellar, but there's 2 others. It's not listed here. I downloaded it to my tablet.
Stellita and Stello are the other 2. Stellita is the smallest. You can get more than one out of the kit.
And the kit comes with everything except the needles. So
or a stiffening agent. You need a stiffening agent too.
That's true.
I might just like saying the word stiffening agent.
Yeah, I was going to say that too, but... So you got 2 different size beads, the smaller ones and then the larger ones that go on the outside. It comes with floss, as well as a threader, and then the hooks to hang them with when you're done.
That's so fancy.
It comes with a small amount of yarn.
Yes, it's a pearl cotton.
From Webs.
Mine is green.
Bet you're surprised that mine is red, right? Oh my god, I'm rolling over a book.
And it comes with iridescent beads.
Oh, those are pretty.
Yes. And then we have one to give away too. We'll talk about that later.
So I got most of this done. I actually had to rip it out 4 times because I fail at reading charts and paying attention.
And Laura's patterns are really good,
yeah,
too.
It was totally my fault. She didn't have anything wrong. It was just me. But I'm using 2 needles. I don't know why, because that's what I had handy, I think.
It calls for double points.
Yeah, I hate double points.
I know you do. I'm surprised you're not magic looping it, though.
Yeah, if I had had one of those handy, I probably would have. Anyway, I've got most of it done. It's really easy. This one, you pre-string all the beads, except for on the very outer edge, which is where I'm at now. And you need a crochet hook, or you can use the super floss, which is probably what I'll do. And then you bind off, and it blocks, even though it looks circular right now, it'll block into a star shape. And then you use a stiffening agent, like Miss Aileen's. You can do sugar water, but she says it tends to discolor the yarn a little.
Oh, yeah.
But the pattern has extensive instructions on what to do.
Okay.
And what to use. So, and I think I have some of it's called Miss Aileen's fabric something. I don't know. I got it at Joann's a while back, so.
Okay.
So there's that. God, am I done yet? No, I've got one more.
Leslie's not used to having so many projects on the needles.
I'm not.
Places today.
I don't know. I haven't been feeling very craft restless. I can't quite settle on anything. Where is the last thing? Here it is. So I had Pebble Beach Shawlette on some handspun on the needles for a while, like 6 months, probably longer. And then I couldn't figure out where I was, and now she's updated it so you can go much bigger and still follow her pattern.
And that's
Helen Stewart.
Yes, and she actually, hold on, I'm gonna give you a coupon code because she actually contacted me because she does that like knit vent thing, like the advent calendar, but it's knitted and it's awesome.
It's 6 weeks and 6 patterns.
Yes, and she's amazing, and I hate trying to get into my PMs while I'm talking to you because I have Leslie on one side with all her stuff, and then I have when you open the Ravelry message box big, then it covers Leslie's face covers it. It makes it.
Why you gotta call me fat?
I'm not. I'm saying your face covers things. All right. So she does the knit bent patterns, which are amazing. And so if you would like to use a coupon code for those, I was going to talk about this later, but we have a coupon code that is all capital letters KGKNITVENT 15, and that gets you 15% off her 2015 knit bent collection. She's released the first 3 patterns, and the first shawl is just amazing.
Yeah, they're lovely.
So, I'm going to put the coupon code
Under favorite
in
things.
the show notes. I had already put it, I think, down at the bottom. Yep. So we are good to go. But while Leslie's talking about that,
So
I will talk to you about it.
I ripped it out, which I had to be careful with because it's a single ply hand spun. It's a loop bump that I spun.
Oh, pretty.
And I ended up not doing Pebble Beach. I wanted something even more brainless.
I don't know. That's pretty.
Pebble Beach is, I don't want to say it's brainless, but it's written out so well that you don't have to really think. You just
And she just
cross
checked
it off as you go.
boxes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is great.
Amazing.
But I just decided I was going to do something simpler. So I cast on for Citron Grand, which is...
Yeah.
So Citron is a hugely popular pattern by Hilary Smith Callis from Knitty several years back. And it called for a single skein of sock yarn. But she rewrote it and added...
It actually called for lace weight.
Oh.
A single skein of Malabriga lace. But you're correct in that it was a single skein.
Well, she rewrote it and added a bunch of sizes. And I have 900 yards almost of this, so I wanted to use as much as possible. So I just cast it on. It's also relatively simple. It has this ruche effect by doubling the stitches and then bringing them back down, cutting them in half again. So it's really easy, and I've just been working on it for the past couple of days because I just cast it on.
I only know that because I have that cast on over there.
When did you cast on Citron?
Like 6 months ago, and I showed it once on the show. Do you want me to show you? It's right over here. So.
I think we should do an episode where we go through every single thing you have on the needles. We should do that for our Patreon people.
Okay. So, see, mine's very small, though.
Yes, it is.
Mine didn't get
very... Oh, you did it out of handspun.
Yeah, it's handspun Citron. It's, do you remember me spinning this at your house when I was...
Oh, yeah. You were fighting with the spinning wheel.
Abercrombie by Into the World, and it's like 900 yards of a lace weight 2-ply that I was doing that took like a month.
Yeah, you were ready to just sell your soul to be done plying.
Yes, it took forever. So I had started, because this is a very variegated skein of hand spun, I had started Citron out of that.
I like that.
I did not...
You should finish that for me.
Okay. I have no idea where I am in it, but I bet you I can figure it out pretty easily.
If you had to start over, it's like 20 minutes work.
But yeah, so I had started that a long time ago. But I had also knit it a couple years ago out for Lisa Loftus out of Sea Silk.
Oh, okay.
And it was when we were doing the podcast, so it's probably in a back episode somewhere. But
oh, I've got to upload all the old Knit Girls episodes on YouTube.
You can do it. Just do a couple, like one a day.
I have to look at my face more than necessary.
Are you vomiting in my general direction? Because I feel like that's what just happened.
So that's it for works in progress.
That's it for you. That was your last thing, was your Citron.
I only have 4 things actively being worked on at the moment.
I only have 2. I do have a lot of things on the needle surrounding me. Man, apparently. Well, here's the thing. Because House Cup, like, if you miss that month, then I'm like, it doesn't count for points anymore, so it kind of gets shoved to the side. Yeah. So I need to... December coming up is a month where it's a break month. But I'm still gonna be knitting all the things for Christmas presents. And I have like 3 baby showers coming up. So we'll see. All right, so finished objects. I have one finished object, and it is not blocked yet. and the ends are not woven in.
You're so unprepared.
Well, it's been sitting in the back of my car since I finished it. So this is Orbit. It is a very small shawl. So it starts on one end and it increases out, and it has like a eyelet pattern every 14 rows or so. And then at the end it's got like 5 rows of eyelets. So it'll be a good like scarf type thing. And it'll block a lot bigger.
Yeah, I like it. I think that's a good pattern for handspun.
Yeah, it's a great pattern for 4 ounces of handspun. It calls for like 260 yards. Numbers, they are awesome. 260 yards of like a DK weight. And this was some handspun I spun out of the lovely Dana Van Wine. She does some great fiber. I don't know if she's still, I'll have to look and see if she's still dyeing fiber. I know she took a break for a while. So it works really, really well with this. And this is the, I think, her abalone colorway. There's some other braids of hers that I need to spin up. So
it's pretty.
Purples and blues and teals. It's really pretty with the brown mixed in. So that is my only finished object. It's going to get blocked this evening, I believe. Because I've been washing fleece. So I haven't had, that was the other thing. It's been sitting in my car since I finished it Friday, but also I have been washing fleece when I'm home. So my sink has been occupied.
I wonder if I can set up tomorrow, not tomorrow, but Friday, and do a quick how-to on how I wash my fleece.
That'd be awesome. You know what also you should do a quick how-to on? How to use a Nostipin.
Ugh, that's so boring, though.
No, someone asked, and it would be a great Periscope if you Periscoped.
It would be cool to do it, to record and then speed it up.
Yes!
Like,
you should totally do that. You should do one regular, and then you should do one, like, in crazy, like...
with, like, old swing time music on there.
That would make my life. It takes very little to entertain me. Like, seriously. The new, Stephen West, like, his, music video to Firework for knitters. Maybe you're a knitter. Like, I got stuck in traffic, and I was like, man, I'm stuck in traffic. You know, there was an accident on the highway, and you're sitting there for like 20 minutes, and I was like, I'm just going to watch this over and over and over.
Now you need to link it in the show notes for anybody who hasn't seen it.
Okay.
Because somebody's going to ask.
What is it, Baby You're a Knitter?
Yeah, on YouTube, I just Googled, or I just searched for Stephen West, and it came up.
I don't even think you have to do that. I think if you type in Baby You're a Knitter, let's see. Yes. All right, now the key is to link this real fast without it playing. Although I'll be the only person who could hear it.
Yeah.
I'll be rocking it out.
So I have a couple of finished objects.
It's going to be a favorite things, guys, at the bottom.
Yeah, and it's, you know, Stephen West, you can say what you want about him, because Lord knows I have, but he's entertaining. You know, you got to give him that. So I
so funny.
Finished a couple things. God, I have too many bags down here. I can't keep up with what I'm looking for. So one of them is Mitered Crosses Square. Oh, there it is. And this is just another one for the pile. I think I'm up to 8 now.
That's going to be awesome. How many did you want to do total?
A lot. 20, something like that.
Okay.
So that's another one. This is all out of Sadie's
That's pretty.
hand spun. I can't remember the name of it. But, so this is all out of Sadie's. And this is for the Mitered Crosses blanket that I'm making for myself by Kay Gardner. Also, the Shalimar yarn.
Yes.
In the Deep Lake colorway, this is the Breathless Cush. I used almost a whole skein for the Quincy hat, which is by Jared Flood.
Oh, I want to see that hat on you.
It was really... So Jared Flood writes very clearly, but he's not especially verbose when it comes to, like, breaking something down for people like me who have a hard time conceptualizing how something works. So this is the hat, and the way that the construction works is you knit this long rectangle in garter stitch, and
then
then
you fold it,
you
right?
twist it,
Okay.
and then you join it. So
How do
then
you join it?
you graft it together.
Okay, so it was like a
A
provisional
Mobius.
custom.
Yes, it's a provisional cast on, but at that point it's a Mobius, right? And that's what it's supposed to
Okay.
be, is a
Okay.
Mobius.
And then do you pick up stitches,
And
I
then you pick
guess?
up stitches around the I-cord, because both of the edges of the rectangle are I-cord, which is great for a finished edge. So you
Yes.
pick up stitches, but because it's a Mobius, like, where are you supposed to go, right? Well, at one point, you basically fold it together at that cross.
Yeah,
You,
you pinch
you
it.
stop picking up on one, and then you jump over to the other and pick up. But nowhere is that explained. It just says pick up around the edge this many.
Was it in other people's notes? Is that
No, that's what I thought too. I was like, surely if I filter these notes by most helpful, somebody's going to have said,
did
hey,
you put it in
dummy,
your notes?
this is how you. When was the last time I put a project up on Ravelry?
I don't know.
So
But now I'm going to look and find out.
it's been a while. But
How long ago do you think it is?
2 years, maybe?
Okay. Keep
So
going.
there's actually a hole because it's a Mobius.
Oh, there is a hole.
Yes.
There's totally a hole.
But when you wear it, you don't see it because it's got this crossed section right there. So this is where the Mobius crossed, and I stopped picking up along this edge, and I started picking up along the crossed edge. Again, I couldn't find it in anybody's notes. So, anyway.
So you think 2 years ago was the last time you updated something?
That would be my guess, yeah.
March 14th, 2015.
What did I put in there in March?
Tense Field by Martina Bem. You didn't take a picture, but you created a
Oh.
picture for it. Are we counting ones with pictures? You also have Wheezy Sucks in here.
Well, that's
A
been...
lot of untitled stuff.
Yeah, because as I delete things from my queue, I'll click the cast on so that I know to go back and add it, but then I never do.
Your Viajanche is in here, the second one. That was 2014.
Yeah, that was last year because I gave it away at SSK.
Yep. I'm just saying that it's
So anyway, this is
2 years.
it's cute. I don't know that I'll wear it.
I think it's adorable. Would Michael wear it? Because it's kind of guy
I
color.
doubt it. He doesn't. He hardly ever wears the plain striped beanie that he requested me make him. So, and then he wears that teal one that you made him sometimes too, but
Oh,
only if it's
yeah.
like super duper cold.
I totally forgot I made him that.
So I finished that, and the yarn was really, really nice to work with. I don't
It's a
know how well
cashmere
it'll wear.
blend, right?
It is a cashmere. It's a cashmere silk blend, I believe.
Ooh.
Yeah, 75 merino, 15 cashmere, 10% silk. So I only used one skein. I have another one to give away, and we'll talk about. I'll bring that on for the show next time we record. We'll give that away.
Sorry.
So we also had some yarn sent to us by the Feel Good Yarn Company.
Oh, it got sent to you, not to me.
Oh,
I didn't get any. But I do need to contact her about something else that hasn't arrived yet. Anyway.
I'm rewriting it all to me so I can keep it.
That's fine.
So it came in 2 colors, and it came with a pattern. So I just decided to do the pattern that it came with. So
That makes it easy.
it's
This has like some kind of like silver content in it, right?
yes, it's 87% cotton, 5% silver, and then it's got a small amount of nylon and spandex.
Interesting.
So you could make mittens out of this and then use your smartphone because it's got that silver content.
Oh, that's so smart.
So
You
it
should
would-
have done that.
Well, but it's like a sport worsted, so it'd be really heavy gloves. I'm sure they have another blend that's thinner that I could have used, but I didn't. So this is what's left of the 2 colors. And what I decided to make was the pattern that came with it. And the pattern that came with it is the Pompeii hat.
Is it like a slip stitch mosaic pattern?
It's a mosaic pattern, yep. Which it's the first time that I've finished a mosaic pattern. I did start some socks earlier this year, but my gauge was just crazy off, so it didn't work.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah. So it came with this pattern, which you can also purchase separately online. and I started it and I couldn't stop. It was really addictive. It went really quickly too, and I love the visual sort of op art effect that you get with the way that it's stretched out. I made the middle size, so
There was enough yarn to do the
I could have done the
size.
largest, yes, but I made the middle size, which was for a 19.5 inch circumference head unstretched, but I have a 20.5 inch head, and
Okay.
so I thought a little bit of negative ease would be a good thing.
Yes,
And
I
a
feel
hat.
like negative ease in a hat is good.
So it's not real long, but I mean that could be easily remedied by doing another repeat of the chart, which
Thank
again
you.
I could have
Thank you,
done.
Malcolm.
But I don't know. I like it. I think that I like the slip stitch pattern. It made it go really quickly.
Yeah, it's
And
cute.
I really actually enjoyed knitting with the yarn more than I thought I would with the cotton. It didn't feel um, like a dishcloth cotton. It was really stretchy, and I had to be conscious,
Conscious.
because of the way that I knit. So let me get that yarn back and show you guys. Because when I knit, I tension it between these two fingers and then over the needle. So by the time that it's knit into the stitch, it's pulled taut.
Uh-huh.
And because of the way this yarn is made, so let's pull out a little bit here. So while it only looks like I've got an inch or two, you can stretch it out quite a bit.
Look at you.
So I had to be really conscious not to have tension on it when I was knitting, because otherwise it would shrink up afterwards.
Uh-huh.
So I had to be really conscious of that and make sure that I was knitting it loosely so that it would
I feel
stretch
like there was
afterwards.
another yarn like that without the silver. Cascade fixation, maybe?
Cascade, yes, because
It was a cotton elastic yarn. That had
and it
more
came in little
elastic than
balls.
it did, and it was like a sport weight.
Didn't you
Hmm.
use that to make a garter for somebody?
I did for Alicia for her
Yeah,
wedding.
that's right. Weird things stay up here in my brain.
I've actually used that to make garters 2 or 3 times.
You're so fancy.
I don't know about that, but I have the ability to use elastic yarn to make garters.
So those are my finished objects. I have no spinning, but you have some super cool spinning.
I do have some spinning. So, my friend Lynn and I kind of became obsessed, and then we dragged Carrie, my friend Carrie, who does Gelby stitch markers,
Mm-hmm.
which are amazing, into this obsession as well.
And this is the Gelby
So,
stitch markers. This is one of hers. She does
I
little
love her
felted
little things that you put on the ends of your needles that hold them tight.
stitch stoppers or something, right?
Yes. Yes, and I have a bunch of her tins. This is one she specially made for me with a little book. Anyway, so Esther Rogers, who's Jazz Turtle, and she teaches all over the country, and I really want to take a live class with her sometime. I should have done it at SAF, but I decided to do Franklin Habit instead. She does some amazing art yarn spinning. We've seen her booth at Stitches before, and the stuff she does is really, really incredible. So does Loop. Steph from Loop
Mm-hmm.
does some incredible art yarn spinning. But Esther's got a new video out, and it's through Interweave, and she also has a class through
Craftsy.
Craftsy on color blending, which I might have purchased, but I haven't watched very far into yet. But using color on drum carders, combs, hackles, and blending boards, like using all those different things.
Mm-hmm.
So she had posted on Instagram on Saturday this picture of Christmas lights that she had core spun. So Lynn and I sent Lynn the picture, and we decided that we were going to be crazy pants awesome and core spin some Christmas lights.
I'm trying to be the person who has no idea what you're talking about here, but
Okay.
we're not talking about the normal double green wire Christmas lights that are on a string that you put on your Christmas tree, right?
I meant to grab actually what I used. So I'm just going to show you. So core spinning. Well, let me back up to my story. So we decided to do this, and then Sunday I was hanging out with Carrie because she lives in Knoxville, and we decided that we were going to go look for these lights. So we went to all the craft stores and they did not have them there, but Lynn had found some at Target. And what these are, they're Philips dewdrop lights, and they are on wire, and they have really small lights that stick out. Me. And core spinning is when you wrap fiber around a core of some kind. And so I've been obsessed with the idea of core spinning wire for a while, because there are some people who do it and then they make necklaces and stuff out of the core spun wire, which is really, really cool. So I was already kind of obsessed with that, but I couldn't find the wire. So we went to, and you can see the little bumps, those are the little lights. So I'm going to light it up. It's going to blink. So if you have an aversion to blinking lights, this would be the time to look away. So it's these little, and I can make them blink different ways. Or you can just get the solid, or you can get the solid colored. So these little gems that you see in there, those are the lights.
So, and what are they like if I was looking for them in the store, what are they advertised as?
Dewdrop lights.
Where are they meant to go in a Muggle world?
Christmas trees.
Okay.
They're back in this, so if you go into Target, because that's where I found them, although Lynn found them again at Home Depot, they are battery operated. So there's a little battery pack, and they're by Philips, and they're called dewdrop lights, and they've just got this real small little bump on a string of wire, and they come in 9-foot for the battery operated, and then for the kind with the outlet, which goes around your Christmas tree, or they're indoor outdoor, so you can put them outdoor too.
Well, I guess you could put it on a wreath and then hide the battery pack behind. I can see. I was just sitting here trying to think of, if I wasn't a spinner and couldn't core spin them, what would I actually do with it? And now I can see where it would.
You'd use them on a wreath, probably, more than likely, or around a mason jar or a vase. So core spinning is when you wrap fiber around. So there's all this fiber that's been wrapped around. And you can knit with core spun yarn. I have a baby hat up behind me. Actually, I'll go grab it real fast. So core spun yarn, I've shown it on the show before, but you're just wrapping. Now you get to see the messy background of my life. You are just wrapping fiber. So one strand is the core, and your core spun yarn is as strong as your core is here, and then you're holding your fiber parallel to that, not parallel.
Perpendicular?
Yes, perpendicular to that, and wrapping it around. And so you can knit with it. And it's super light and fluffy. This is coarse spun. And it kind of acts like a single in that the color stays true to whatever you did. And you can make it thick and thin, or you can just make it, this is a little baby hat. You can make it
ooh, that would be good for a loop bump.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yes. That's gonna happen.
Maybe I'll do that over Christmas break.
So you can do it around wire, you can do it around Christmas lights, you can do it around a mohair core, you can do it around a crazy fancy like novelty core, like those rickrack trims, and do it real light and like so you can see like in a light color like a white, and you can see the rickrack going through it. You can do it and then have another yarn wrapping, auto wrapping around it as you go. So there's lots of different ways to do it. You can core spin bats, you can core spin top if you fluff it, you can core spin locks. You can basically do whatever you want. It's magical. But this was a bat that I had core spun around, I think just lace weight yarn. And the weight of your core is also going to determine your thickness of the thing. And this had a lot of glitter and sparkle to it. And I just knit a wee little hat. So, and I core spun a couple months ago something, like that big yellow bat, but now I don't know where I put that yarn. Oh, I have it. Hold on a second. Oh, I don't know if I can reach it with my feet or not.
Gosh, I wish I could see your desk and surrounding right now.
Hold on, I'll be right back.
God, she's going in.
Okay, my desk is actually an IKEA desk that is connected to the IKEA,
The
like,
expedite shelving.
yes, the expedite shelving. So there's cabinets that go underneath it. So this is core spun too. This is like thick and thin core spun. So my hand spun is actually like underneath. But that's, and this was such an ugly bat. But that's the cool thing is you can kind of separate out colors. So if I had spun this like a regular yarn, there were all these locks in it. You can see that when I core spun, they kind of tail spun out. But and there was all this glitter. But this would have been like a muddy, muddy mess. But when you core spin it, it kind of comes out pretty cool.
Because usually you're going to separate out your colors enough that they don't mix, they don't muddy, and once you've core spun, that's a finished yarn. You don't ply it with any. I mean, I guess you could.
You could. You
generally, you don't ply it with anything else, so it's finished at that point. So the colors aren't going to muddy anymore.
Nope, that's it. Or you could have something. You could pull it back through with like a novelty, like a sequin yarn. The cool thing about core spinning is, and I need to buy some jingle bells, is you can stop.
Do not want.
You can, because you're putting on little short links, you can break your fiber, so it's little short links that go on, and you can actually thread beads, like felt beads, or jingle bells.
Rubber duckies.
Or rubber duckies. Leslie's alluding to a class that we took with Lexi Boger. So we learned how to course. I've taken classes on course spinning from Lexi Boger, JC Boggs, Sarah Anderson, and then this video class. Those were all live classes, but this video class with Jazz Turtle. So there's all different methods of doing it and very cool different ways of doing it. And I recommend classes with most of those people. But Sarah did a really good job and JC did a good job too in the classes we took over the summer. And Lexi had some really interesting ideas on what to do with it. And she did coreless core spinning, which is another thing that Jazz Turtle goes into in her class as well. So there's all sorts of different techniques and thoughts. Are we done with core spinning? I'm trying to think of anything else that I could possibly say. I love doing crazy stuff.
Well, now you got me, like, my interest is piqued again because I got those 2 Halloween bats from Joanna Spring, and I've been holding off on spinning them because, like, I love the colors so much. I don't want to mix them. So, but now I can core spin them. I'd forgotten about them.
You should put them on Christmas lights.
No, I don't think that's going to happen.
I think they're so... I've got, like, the 30-foot length. So when you core spin Christmas lights, it's just like core spinning wire. So you treat it pretty much the same. So
but you have other spinning you did this week, right?
I did, but not really to show because it's in the other room because I'd started applying it.
Oh, okay.
So I have spun almost a pound of the gray Shetland that I showed y'all last week. So I was spinning gray Shetland long draw, and I had a pound that I purchased at Vicksburg this year. And it's actually for a class, well, it's for Quiddy for Harry Potter Knit and Crochet House Cup, and that ends tonight. So I'm trying to get it plied and figure out yardage. I'm hoping to do, so I'm hoping that I get 1,200 yards, and I have some other Shetland 8 ounces from Southern Cross. So the end goal is a cardigan. I'd love to do a cardigan with like a yoke detail in the either Fair Isle or stripes in the other color. So, and maybe like some details on the wrist.
You could do a yoked sweater that's then striped and mix in lots of hand spun.
I could, but I have this pound of Shetland. So I want to use all the Shetland.
Okay.
And I'm thinking just something at the yoke and maybe details on the sleeve. Kind of like in the Rhinebeck sweater book, there's that one that Mary... What is her name? The lady from Ravelry with the red hair.
Mary Heather.
Yes, Mary Heather is
Coker
wearing.
Or something. I think Coker's her last name.
It's gray with like and it's made out of Green Mountain Spinnery, which is similar to what I'm getting.
Yeah,
So
it's solid, and then it's got like a color
a
work
red
band. Mm-hmm.
color band here and then on the sleeves as well. So that might be an option. I haven't decided yet. So that is hopefully getting plied tonight. Otherwise, it won't count. I'm gonna ply as much as I can and count it off and wash it, but we'll see. I totally messed up plying the first little bit because I had 3 bobbins on, but I was doing a 2-ply, but I was just having the third part hold my bobbin, and somehow that got sucked in, and so I had a 3-ply for a little bit. So I had to go back and set my wheel to go the opposite direction and untwist it to get it out. Yeah, I was not superbly happy because it took up a little bit of time. So I have 5 of the 6 bobbins spun for that, but it's taking me around an hour and a half to fill a bobbin, so I just have a wee bit left to spin on one bobbin. But that is about it for me in spinning. We do have a book to review.
Yeah, it's actually more like a little collection.
Nice.
It's a new collection put out by Alexis Winslow, and it's called Speckle Stone.
Now she did a book for Interweave not too long ago.
Yeah, the Wanderlust or something. No, that wasn't hers.
It was the graphic knits, right?
Yes, there you go, graphic knits.
Which we loved, but it had some smaller sizes on some, if I recall correctly.
So, but this one is called Speckle Stone, and it's a digital download.
Although she is coming out with a hardcover copy, so if you're interested in the hardcover copy, it would be worth waiting for you.
Mm-hmm.
It retails for $15 for the U.S. digital download.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think we have a price on the hard copy yet because I don't think she's priced it out
Not
yet.
So this one was inspired, she says that it's inspired by pottery. And she sort of does a lookbook here, mood board, where you can kind of see where she's coming from.
There's a lot of photographs throughout the entire book.
Yeah, each of the patterns has plenty of photos to go along with it.
But yeah, you can see the speckled pottery that she took some inspiration from.
So it starts with the Dolo mitts. These are in Barocco Ultra Alpaca Fine.
Favorites. I love those.
And I love that she uses the solid to marl with the 2 together. So she's got white, and then she's got white and red, and then she's got red, and she's got gray and brown, and then brown. So let's see. This one comes in one size with a hand circumference and a length, which are both easily adjusted. She walks you through what cast-ons to use. She has video support for how to do the short rows, which I think is a unique facet of the digital books, is you can directly link out to other sources.
Got a picking up stitches video tutorial, a weaving and ends video tutorial, a blocking tutorial. So everything is really covered. The second piece is mezzo cardigan.
Yeah.
It's a cocoon style cardigan. It's very oversized. So
it's a very contemporary piece.
Yes, and it's very snugly looking.
It's knit.
Same ultra alpaca fine.
Yeah, it looks like it's knit flat.
And then also DK, vintage DK.
I really love the look of it, honestly. I don't know that I would break down and knit it, but I do love the look of it, and I love the marled effect of the sweater. I'm really into that marled effect that she's got going on.
It does have various sizes. It goes from, the measurement is from armhole to armhole. But there are different sizes.
And it's got everything laid out in a schematic. Because it's an unusual piece, you sort of have to work with the measurements along with her notes to sort of figure out what size you want to make.
Again, video tutorial support. And lots of pictures. There's pictures from the back. There's pictures close up from the back, from the front, from the side. So it really, the pictures give you a clear view of what this piece is supposed to look like from all sides. I like the Arno pullover a lot.
I
It's
do
a
too.
classic crew neck.
Yep, it's a
So
top
that
down with set-in sleeves, and it's got the
and it's
marl
got
colors.
yeah, a different marled at the top and then a different marled at the bottom. You could totally do it in one color if you
Mm-hmm.
wanted by holding together the two colors. Again, uses Barocco Ultra Alpaca Fine. And
Sized
it
from 31 up to a 51.5 inch bust.
great like schematic of the bust circumference, waist circumference, hip circumference, like all the measurements that you could possibly need.
She
It
also
also
tells you the what size the model sweater is and how much ease it's got built in to the sweater versus the model's measurements, which is
awesome.
always really helpful.
And then she also has like a little schematic of what side you pick up the stitches on,
Hmm. Because
which
of
is
the unusual construction in the way that it's made, she's got these extra little bits for how to make it work. The schematic is just fantastic for
all the
measurements,
information.
where all the numbers are. I think it's a really well done schematic.
Then there's the Brenta hat, which is gorgeous.
Hmm.
And again, all of these are photographed in multiple directions, so
Yes,
you can really, really see what's going
I
on.
really dig how
See
she does.
the
Yeah,
crown.
the top. Yep, crown to
This comes in
creases.
two sizes, in a 19 and a half and 24 inch. And it tells you that's the width around the head, and then it tells you what size you're actually knitting. It's knit out of Barocco Vintage DK. This would be a stunning gift knit for the holidays because only 25 to 30 yards of the DK is
Hmm.
used in each color, so you could do different ones for. I mean, there's the main color too, but for the background color, so you could do a bunch out of the same yarn,
Yeah,
or you
and
could just switch out one color and make it totally different
she
looking.
also has video support for stranded color work. So if you've never done stranded color work, this would be a really great intro project because it's DK weight, so it's not super
Yeah.
fine. It would go relatively quickly, and there's only 2 colors per row, so it's
Yeah.
not anything incredibly difficult.
And
The
there's
last pattern is the one
timber
I'm
frame,
really,
which is just stunning.
yes, I want it. I wants it. It's the Tiber cardigan.
It's worked from seamlessly from the bottom up.
Hmm.
It's got a yoke style shoulder construction, and it's out of Louette Gem Sport Weight. It is sized from a 30 and 5/8 up to a 54 and 3/8. And then it tells you the sweater pictured is a size 36 and 5/8, modeled with a half-inch positive ease in the bust.
But look
Great
how pretty.
It's gorgeous.
It's very visually striking.
I like the side, how the side panel looks. Oh, it's not going to let me zoom in. There we go. Do you see that little bit of detail on the
Oh,
side where
that's
it's
beautiful. I
twinkling
hadn't
at?
seen that. Oh, it's so lovely.
It's pretty. It's
Um,
really pretty that it's just got that little bit of extra width
yeah.
on the side. It's really, really stunning.
Very clear charts, separate charts for the different sections that require it. Great sizing on it. The schematics are wonderful. Um, I like that it's in a sport weight.
Yeah.
So, because a lot of times something with this much detail would sort of default all the way down to a fingering. I like
Hmm.
that she's managed it in a sport weight so it wouldn't
Love
take.
that yoke detail too.
Yes. She really
Really,
does
really.
have an eye for that sort of thing. So,
So it's a collection of 5 patterns, all
hmm,
by Alexis Winslow. Really, really pretty. And that is
that's it.
Speckle and Stone by Alexis Winslow. It is a $15 digital download, although she is going to publish a paper copy at some point of the collection as well.
Yes.
All right, so while we're talking about sweaters, we have a question from Marion One, and she says, I am almost embarrassed by my question because I am a seasoned knitter, but can you explain positive and negative ease? I can't wrap my head around it. So, negative ease.
So I would say first, I didn't really get negative and positive ease until a little over a year ago. And this is our now 6th year doing the podcast. So
Well,
don't
we
feel
took that
dumb.
class from. Did you take the class from Jared Flood, and he went really into ease, and
Yes,
then
but I had been knitting for, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years at that point, and I really didn't understand it.
okay.
I was just like, oh, you're kind of cute. I'm going to take those notes. What did you say? Yeah, okay.
So positive ease is when the garment is larger than the size. So if I am a 44, if I knit a 46, I would have 2 inches of positive ease.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's built into the pattern, like we were just talking about that hat pattern. Had negative ease where, and you'll see this a lot. Woolly Wormhead does this really, really well, where she will say, "This is the size of your head. This is the size of the finished garment that you were knitting." Or a hat in this case. Negative ease is when the garment is smaller than the measurements that you would like it to be. You see it a lot with lace or very close fitting garments. So if I was a 44 and I wanted 2 inches negative ease, I would be making a 42 actual size. You see negative ease a lot with socks, with hats, with mittens.
Anything that needs to stay in place.
Stay in place. Whereas positive ease is more, if you have too much positive ease, it can look a little bit sloppy. If you have too much negative ease, it can look like
you look like a sausage
into your your little sister's clothing. So
the very simplified way that I remember it, because I require very simple sort of visual or mnemonic reminders sometimes, is I picture myself as base level 0, right? And then I think, if I want to buy a shirt, right? And I want it to be loose, then I'm going to have to plus the size that I'm on, right? So I'm going to have to go positive ease on it. So if I'm a size extra large and I want a shirt that's sort of baggy and loose and comfortable on me, I'm going to have to go up. So I'm going to have to plus the size, plus for positive, and I go up to an extra large, right? But if I want something snug to show off the girls or whatever, then I'm going to have to go negative a size and go down to a large. So that's a very simplified sort of first grade answer, but that's the way that it makes sense. And that's what finally made it make sense in my head.
So one thing that I would add to this, and this is coming from Jared Flood, is the thicker your yarn, the more ease in a positive way that you are going to need, because that yarn diameter
is going to add bulk.
Is adding bulk.
Yeah.
On the inside as well as on the outside. It's taking a broom on the inside as well as on the outside. So you 2 inches or 1 inch or a ½ inch positive ease on a sock weight will look much different than a ½ inch of positive ease on a bulky weight.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm trying to think of anything else I have to say with ease. That's about it.
I'll say we not complicate it. I think that's a pretty good answer.
Alrighty, so there you go, Marion. I hope that helps in some way.
I would also say don't feel dumb for asking questions like that, because still sometimes Laura will talk about grist and twist ratio and shit, and I'm just like,
I don't know when I talk about twist ratio.
And I'm just like, okay. Yeah, sure.
I think we all have those moments.
Yeah, there are some things I just don't inherently understand, and it doesn't make me dumb. It just means I don't understand that. Although narwhals...
I almost said it, and I was so good. I totally resisted saying it.
All right. So, what are you reading,
They're knitting
Laura?
narwhals.
I'm not knitting anything with narwhals.
Knitting narwhals?
So, what are you reading, Laura?
I finished Carry On by Rainbow
Roll?
I think it's Roll. And I also finished, these were 2 audiobooks, the new Stephanie Plum book, which I think is 22 or 23. I don't know. I've lost track. But I listen, they're 6 hours each, like 6.5 hours each. So it came out maybe a week ago, and I had pre-ordered it because it's super fluff. Like, it's a mystery, but not really.
By 30 minutes in, you know who the bad guy is.
Well, she's a bounty hunter, so it's more comic relief than anything else. Like, there's nothing changes really, like, within the characters. There's no character development anymore. It's just like my little bit of fluff. And the narrator who reads it, Lorelei King, is amazing. So I finished those 2. I'm trying to think of anything else that I finished. Something I read yesterday. What did I read yesterday? something that just came out. Oh, the new G.A. Aiken Dragon book I finished. Um, that just came out, and that was pretty good. I'm getting a little bit tired of that series. I think it's almost time for her to move on. So, and she has moved on. She does have a new series under the Shelley Laurelston name, but The Calling of Crows, I think, was the first one in that series, and the new one comes out in March. But yeah, not a whole ton of reading. More hanging out and chilling with folk this week, and working a ton until I got off on Friday. Oh, I forgot to put that I went to the Comic-Con in the show notes. We're totally talking about that in a little while. All right. See, I had a very busy week.
You did.
So that's it for me for reading. What have you been reading?
Not much has changed. I'm still reading a bunch of fluff that I'm not sharing. And then I'm listening to Dragonfly and Amber, which is the second in the Outlander series.
Oh.
And,
only 75 more hours to go on that one?
well, I don't mind the length, but the way this is set up, so anybody who's watched... Okay, so I'm going to talk about and give possible spoilers to the first book or the entire first season of Outlander. If you don't want to hear it, then fast forward.
Okay.
So the first book in the Outlander series, the general concept is this woman after World War II. She reunites with her husband. They've barely been together, 2 weeks over the course of 5 years because of World War II, and they were separated, and she was a nurse, and he did something in the army, in intelligence.
Is it 2 or 1? Is it 2?
Is what 2?
Is it World War II or World War I?
It's World War II, because it's 1945 or 6 when the book is taking place. So, and they're on holiday in Scotland.
Mine for some reason. Yeah, they go on holiday.
Yeah, and so
he's doing like genealogical research, right?
And so there's, through this circle of stones and this druidic sort of ritual thing, she ends up going back in time 200 years to Scotland. And
she runs into one of his ancestors, right?
That's a total subplot that's got some really...
This is why I hate time travel books, because I'm like...
There's some, especially towards the end of the first book, there's some really trigger-worthy moments. Like potential abuse and other things. Trigger warning sort of things. But anyway, so she travels back 200 years. She falls in love. Well, she ends up having to get married for protection from whatever, right? So she's married to the Scot when she goes back in time.
Right?
Jamie, yes.
I know that because people have pocket Jamie.
Yes. So, they go through all these crazy things and trials. And at the end of the first book, they're sailing off to France. And it's still 17, because he's got a price on his head.
Okay.
So... It's 1746 or 7 by that point.
So that was during like one of the uprisings, right?
Yes. When they were when there was a pretender to the throne, and there was Bonnie Prince Charlie, and I'm learning a lot about European history listening to this.
About Scottish history more than...
Well, yeah, but England and all that is involved as well.
Yes, because they're trying to settle down the Scots.
The second book has started with... what's her name?
Claire?
Sassenach. Yes, Claire. Mm-hmm. She's back in modern times.
How did she get back?
I don't know. That's the thing, right? So I'm like 10 hours into this book.
They never tell you how
she's back. She's got a 20-year-old daughter because she was pregnant when the last book ended. She was pregnant.
Oh.
So she's got a 20-year-old daughter. She's been back for 20 years. And I'm just now at the point where she's telling her daughter about this, because her daughter never knew. But it still hasn't, like, she's still telling the story of what happened. I still don't know how she got back, and it's driving me crazy. Or why she came back. Or what's going to happen next. Like, I want more Jamie.
Is she and her husband back reunited?
They were, but he died the previous year.
Oh.
Yeah, so, and it doesn't really talk about... clearly she's pregnant and it wasn't his baby because she'd been gone 3 years in like modern... There's so many questions. So anyway, you guys just got a whole brief...
So she returned, but she returned at a later date.
Yes, 3 years. When she hadn't been gone for 3 years, unless she miscarried and then got pregnant again because pregnancies don't last 3 years. Because she was pregnant when she came back. So.
But she could have just. See this way, time travel.
I know!
She could have come back. Like, she could still be pregnant, but gone into the future from when she was.
I know! And there's not like, you know, you go up to the Circle of Stones at Craignadoon, there's not like a dial you can turn, you know, what year
no
I want to go to.
You have to hit
88 miles an hour.
per hour.
Anyway.
Oh, man.
Oh, it's that uncertainty factor.
Time travel.
All right, so let's talk about favorite things, because that is not my favorite thing right now. Maybe it will be next week, but
I'm going to DFW Flapper Festival in March. I booked my flight and all the things this past week, so I am set to go. I'm taking a class.
When in March?
It's actually the 1st. It's like April 1st.
Oh, okay.
It's not then. It's at a later date. Look, I'm keeping it straight this year.
That's good, because...
So last year, Leslie is like freaking because last year I scheduled myself to go teach at Vicksburg and we were going to go to TNNA and it was the same time. But that's not happening this year either because I already looked at
Yeah, and TNNA is in D.C., so it's only a 3-hour drive for me.
Which is amazing. It's only a 3-hour flight.
Yeah, I was going to say you're not driving.
I'm not driving. Although I did offer to if Leslie wanted to take the train. So... DFW, April 1st. It's the week after, it's like in the same week of my birthday. So it's that week. So I'm taking a class with, who is it, Miriam Felton? And that's going to be super fun.
Sylvia Harding, I thought.
Sylvia Harding, thank you.
Sylvia.
Sylvia, I'm sorry. Those are two separate people.
They are.
They kind of design similar things, though, so they get confused in my head. Like, they do lace with beads.
They do? Yes, that is true.
Okay. So.
And then I have Vogue Knitting Live, which is middle of January. I'm just taking the train up. I will only be in D.C. or New York City for like 8 hours, and then I'll take the train back down.
It's fun, though.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I'm very much happy that I don't have to drive in New York City because that'll never happen again.
Yeah. We did that kind of for my birthday a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I don't mind being in New York City, although Times Square is out for me forever. But I don't want to drive in New York City.
There you go. And then, I have a kit to show you. Are you excited?
I am excited. I want to see it.
So this is the Salutations kit from Little Skein and the Big Wool. She sent it to me for review. She has a knit along going on in January. And so I'm going to participate in that knit along. Melanie Berg, whose shawls are gorgeous, did the pattern.
Oh, that's cool.
It's just absolutely stunning. I do not have the pattern. I might have it on my iPad.
So the Salutations is a reference to Charlotte's Web, correct?
It is. So Little Skein and the Big Wool does kits that are based off of different books. Mm-hmm. And I did one a couple years ago for her. And so this one has a shawl called For the Love of Spiders. It's really, really pretty.
Oh, that is pretty.
And so when the kit arrived, she had sent me the digital code for the pattern. Look, it's got a sticker.
Aww.
Super cute packaging.
It is. Nice art, too. I don't know who does her art, but it's pretty.
It's really pretty. So this is, it came all wrapped, and there's more of that little sticker on the inside. There's this super cute card.
Aww.
And you can order these still up until January. It is Little Skein and the Big Wool. And then there's chocolate, but I ate it. There's a postcard that tells you about downloading the PDF pattern and pattern support and the read along and knit along, which begins January 1st in the Little Skein group on Ravelry. She sent me like 10 different color combinations that I could pick, and I picked grays.
There's a shocker.
Well, this one's kind of like a bluish gray.
Yeah, I can see it. It's got
and that's Charlotte. And this one is a gray, and it's spider's web. So I got Charlotte in the spider's web.
I think those colors go nicely.
So me. I love it. I think they'll be perfect. And the yarn was done by Sunshine Yarn and her luxury sock yarn. So it's a superwash merino cashmere nylon blend. So really, really pretty. And that's dyed in Boulder, Colorado. And then what else is in here? She does these cute little tins of stitch markers. And this one has, it's got one of those bulb pins that's pink.
Oh, that's so fancy.
And there's all these little pink markers. And then there's
pig stitch marker. That better come live at my house.
The little piggy can come live at your house, yes. Because Leslie is obsessed with pigs.
I love pigs.
And then there is a bar of Tuft Woolen soap in the Wilbur's famous buttermilk bath. It smells a little bit like lavender and a mint of some kind.
That's clever.
It's very clever. And then there's also another wee stitch marker on lobster claw, and it's the little ribbon. I'm trying to get it so you can see the front. There we go. Because he wins first prize.
Oh.
And then there's the bag, which is super cute.
Oh. So that's definitely custom fabric.
Uh-huh. And, you can't see the pig. Can you see Wilbur?
I saw the pig on the other side.
There he is, with his big old ears. And there's a sheep and the rat whose name I forget.
I don't remember. It's been a long time since I read Charlotte's Web.
Let me look at the inside. And the inside is puppies.
Aw. With
And
little yarn balls in the middle.
Yes.
So that's going to be custom too, I bet.
I bet you. And it's got interfacing in it, so it's nice and strong. And I'm going to put everything in the bag so I won't lose it, because January 1st is in Laura years forever away. But really, she really thinks out her kits well. And I'm super excited, so I'll be knitting along with that. That'll be like my first selfish project for January.
I always cast on something on the 1st of January.
I do too, typically. Typically it's socks, and I didn't even finish them this year. They're in a bag over there. Out of Handspun that just sent me for Christmas last year. So, once I finish gift knitting this year, I'm going to finish those too. I just have to have the Laura Neal book with me, because it's a Laura Neal pattern out of sock architecture.
Is it bootstrap, or is it something else?
No, it's something else.
Okay.
And, I can't remember was it Stry or something?
There's a, like, Strie, or, yes.
Strie, maybe?
Something like that.
So, anyway, the Little Skin and the Big Wool, those kits will be available in all different colored yarn for pre-order at the Little Skin and the Big Wool shop, and that is linked in the show notes. So if you are interested in knitting along, you can find those there. So, this past week was super crazy busy. So Friday, I went to the Memphis Comic-Con with my kids on a field trip. And it was funny because the art teacher was like the main sponsor, and I just came as a second chaperone, and she was totally geeked out. Like, she was so excited because this is like her crowd of people. So there was some really cool things that the kids could do. They got to talk to two women who create their own films. One's a film student, and one's actually created short films. They're both short film creators, directors. So they got to like learn about different shots and lighting and cool stuff like that. And then there was a robotics thing.
Oh.
And they got to do that. They got to move a ball with their minds by like blinking and stuff. I know. And then they got to watch one of the short films that one of the ladies had done. And they got to talk to one of the guys who draws for The Simpsons.
Oh.
Yeah, and then there was a whole section, like a sale section too, so I got to go through and see like all the little art amigurumis that people had crocheted, because there were some crocheters and knitters there.
Oh yeah, I would imagine at any con there's going to be
Yeah,
crafty
so
people
it's
there.
a very small con. The big name people who were Jerry Lawler and Q were Discord from Star Trek Next Gen and My Little Pony. They were coming later. But it was really, really interesting. It was great people watching too, there, because there was a ton of bronies, and it was really, and my kids were like super cool. Like they weren't like jerks at all, which
Yeah,
I was
well,
a
I
little
can see
bit
them
more,
being kind of interested in this versus taking them to a museum or
more
something.
modern
Yeah.
art. So, and it's a lot of people who are doing comic or con inspired art too. So, um, they were really, really into it, and they had a good time. But it was funny, and I got a lot of knitting done on the shawl because I sat in the back and just watched them interact with people,
Cool.
which was fun. Yeah, it was really interesting. So that was cool. And then Saturday I drove to Knoxville, and Sunday I hung out with Jelby for most of the day. And I also got to hang out. In the morning we went to the Maryville Knitter Group, which meets in this awesome cafe on Sunday mornings. So we hung out there for a little while, which was super fun. And got to meet some nice people. We really went because I want Mom to go.
Yeah.
It's like, let's go together. So I think she'll go a little bit more often. And then I got to hang out with Jelby, Carrie. We had lunch, and then went looking for Christmas lights at all the stores in Knoxville, and had a good time. Just hung out and then got coffee and sat in it. And she drove so I could knit on my sweater. That's like a true friend that will drive you places so that
I don't mind driving, but your job as a passenger is to entertain me. You are not allowed to sleep because I will
Leslie
poke
gets
you
so
and
mad
wake
at me
you
when I
up.
try to sleep. She's like, I'm going to put pictures of you sleeping on the internet, which used to be a valid threat, and now I don't care. So, like, whatever. Okay, do it. Um, so that was great. And then Monday, I was helping Mom load her studio, like take stuff from storage to her new studio space, which was great. And of course, spun Christmas lights, and we watched the Jess Turtle video. We were planning on watching the mini spinner video that Sarah Anderson just came out with from Interwave 2. But at 1:30 we had to leave because we got to tour Acreworks Workshop.
Cool.
So it was super, super fun. And we got, Aiden is just like the absolute sweetest guy ever. And we got to meet two of his people who work for him.
Was Dory there too?
No.
No.
Not that time. And so got to see some stuff that's in the works that is super exciting, and got to see all the printers working, which was super cool.
Do they all have little pictures with what their name is?
Yes, they do. There's
Was Tina Fey in action? Cause
she was. It was Watterson. I'm trying to think what other ones there were, because that was Bill Watterson, like Calvin and Hobbes. There's one that he's making because he's like super smart.
He is.
Like takes apart printers and puts them back together.
Not printers, 3D printers.
Yeah, 3D printers. And so he's making one, and it's called Mary Shelley because it's a Frankenstein.
I like it.
So cool.
So while you were being shown around, you did a Periscope, right?
Yes, after he had shown us all around and we had talked for a while, I did a Periscope. Which, if you follow me on Twitter, I tend to tweet out my Periscopes as well, and you can watch them online. The downside of Periscopes is they're only available for 24 hours. Mm-hmm. And I was so excited about being there and doing a Periscope. Like, you have a 1 second window to hit save.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you hit something else, then it doesn't save, which is kind of a pain in the butt. So I forgot to save it. But Jolie of Jolie's Kitchen was super sweet. And I guess there's a way, if you have a Mac, you can run it through QuickTime. Mm-hmm. Like, you can play it on your computer and have QuickTime set up at the same time, and it can record it. So they're not lost forever. Like, there's that, but you can only do it for 24 hours. And my Mac, which is forever old, was here and not with me.
So long story short, Jolie saved it.
She saved the day.
And we're going to dump it in our YouTube feed. So yeah, it'll be, come along. It'll look like a separate episode. but it's not super long. I think it's only a few minutes.
Yeah. And it's kind of like the format might be weird because you'll see people's questions pop up. And Lynn asked me a bunch of questions, and I totally forgot to ask Aiden questions. So basically what it is a tour of the studio, and then Aiden talks about some of his products and how it works when you order, and then he does like a Q&A. So people are asking questions about different things, and then he's answering questions.
And kudos to him for being willing to deal with our craziness.
I totally sprung it on him. I gave him no warning whatsoever
or option to get out of
it.
it.
Yeah, I was super bossy, like I always am. So
I would like to see you looking up and bossing him around, because even you have to look up to Aiden.
I do. It's weird. And that I don't typically have to look up to many people.
Yeah.
Because I'm right around 6 foot tall. I'm probably shrunk, but I used to be 6 foot tall. And so Aiden is taller than I am by a good foot, I would say, at least.
He's a tall dude. He's going to be one of our vendors at SSK.
Yes.
So
we're the only show that he will ever do. He told me. So we are exclusive for at least till July. I'm trying to convince him you should go do Ply Away or something like that. But they customize the bobbins so much because you not only pick your color, and they have all these color choices, but you also pick what pattern you want. And so
there's that, plus there's the factor of what type of wheel you have.
Yes, plus what kind of wheel you have. So it's and these are the bobbins that we're talking about. This is an Anchorworks bobbin. Yeah. So there's one in pink. This is the sunflower pattern. And there's that same pattern, or there's one in teal, and then there's one in pink. And then I have some in the lacy pattern, and he's got this cool lotus pattern, and there's so many different patterns. And then they also do these really cute, they have hedgehog and whale orifice hooks.
Yes.
That you can buy too. So, and spindles that are totally customizable. And he goes through the process of how the spindles are made, which is super cool.
Cool.
So,
I think I'll actually add his video to the end of this one, so it's not a separate.
That would be a good idea.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was super, super neat, and he's such a great guy, and his staff is so sweet, so it was great.
Very jealous you got to hang out with Carrie and go see the Acreworks studio.
And I got to hang out with my mama and Weezy.
There's always that.
I mean, there's so many reasons to be jealous of me.
They're pretty cool.
Now. And I got to go to a Comic-Con.
Yeah, but you had kids there with you, so that kind of brings it down a little for me.
Factor for you.
Yeah.
It was fun. I mean, it would be more fun to have Cube in there, because I would have liked to see him. But it's probably best that he wasn't. But there are some really sweet, my kids sometimes are, I mean, they're middle school age kids, so they have I feel a bad reputation sometimes because they're middle school age kids. But because people go, oh my god, you teach middle school.
I'm that way about all children equally, so
regardless of their age.
Yes.
But the vendors were so sweet, saying, oh, you can totally pick that up, you can totally look at it, because I told them you do not take pictures of other people's artwork, and you do not touch things. If you touch something, I'm going to bop you.
Bop is a technical term.
It is. We do not touch other people's stuff, because in my mind, I'm they're gonna come across this glass sculpture of
and start playing hacky sack with it.
Something terrible will happen. But there was a woman who was selling Pocky in Japanese candy.
Oh yeah.
All their money there. And there was another guy who was really sweet, and he was making grab bags of comics for them, 3 comics for $1. So they bought a lot of those too, which made me happy, because then they were reading.
Yeah.
So they had a good time. Had a good time with them. The marketplace was a little stressful for me, because they just scattered like little ants.
I can see that.
So again, we have a knit event coupon, and that is in the show notes. Yeah. The link to Baby Your Knitter is in the show notes. And then we're doing a giveaway for one of the Laura Nelkin ornaments. So you can go ahead on our Ravelry group. And what we're going to ask, the question we're going to ask is, what is your favorite item from her Etsy shop or favorite pattern? Because she's got lovely patterns, but in her Etsy shop, she also does really cool kits like these.
Mm-hmm.
The colorway that you will win, one of you, is this white. And it's
Ooh,
got really, really cool blue iridescent beads.
that's a really nice Christmas color combo.
Yes. So, and the kit contains everything, including the 3 patterns.
Yep.
So that's available. You just download them on Ravelry. So go over and check out Laura Nelkin's stuff and just tell us your favorite item that is in her Etsy shop or your favorite design by her. And there will be a giveaway thread in the
TheKnitGirlls group.
TheKnitGirlls group on Ravelry.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, 1 post per person. You must be a group member to win. And prizes are not exchangeable or interchangeable with each other.
Yeah.
Is there anything else? You have to follow the prompts, basically.
Yeah.
That's about it.
And you're entering to win the prize that we advertised, not something we've talked about otherwise.
Yep. Thank you to all our wonderful Patreon supporters.
Mm-hmm. And for those who have chosen to donate differently via PayPal, which is you can do one time versus an ongoing thing,
Yes.
we appreciate those very much as well. We're sort of chewing on a new idea of how to use a couple of the recent donations that we've got. We'll talk more about that once we've got it sort of ironed out.
Yeah, and we're coming towards the end of the month, so next week when we record, which will be Sunday, we will have a hand-spun giveaway and a yarn giveaway.
Prize giveaway, yep.
Yep, for sure. So that'll be fun as well. I need to spin for that hand-spun prize giveaway.
You need to knit on Grace.
Nah. Yeah, maybe.
I have hand spun I can give away.
Okay. So, yeah, we'll go through some stuff.
So tomorrow is Thanksgiving.
Yes, tell me about your favorite things, because I have been monopolizing all the things with my
No, you're fine. I am grateful because my husband does most of the cooking and the cleaning in the kitchen. I do not plan to change that for Thanksgiving. He'll be cooking the turkey as well as most of the sides. We're not going huge. Not last year, but the year before, we did a lot, and a lot of it went to waste. We couldn't eat it fast enough. Yeah. So this year we're not doing a whole lot.
What are you gonna have?
We're gonna have turkey. I'm gonna make my dad's potato salad, which I've never tried to make, so we'll see. And it's not like your mom does like the German potato salad.
She does. She does a vinegar-based German potato salad.
So the one that I make is like, well, that my dad makes is like potatoes, eggs, mayo, relish, mustard, paprika, some other stuff. So I'm going to try that. And then I don't know what other sides we're going to have. But I'm going to make a banana cake with cream cheese frosting. And I'm going to make a butterscotch apple pie with a sugar cookie crust.
Yum.
Because diabetes, apparently. I don't know.
Sounds awesome, though.
So I have to make the butterscotch, the glaze stuff. The butterscotch uses butterscotch chips, and then the speculoos. It's like a cookie. It's like peanut butter consistency, but it's the cookie stuff.
Yeah.
So it uses those two things, so you know it's going to be good.
Yeah, it's going to be delicious.
And then apparently Friday I'm recording a couple tutorials, so if I can remember.
Volunteered. No one told you to. I am going to do a Periscope in a couple days about my 5 favorite. So I did one before about my 5 favorite books for sock techniques, and I'm going to do another one on my 5 favorite sock pattern books. And tomorrow for lunch, I am eating vegetarian stuffing, and I have butternut squash. So that is my big.
Did you bring that back from your parents, or did you buy it?
Well, my mom was here last week tiling my floor. She made stuffing for me and put it in the freezer.
Wow.
But I bought the butternut squash. I also have rolls. I'm trying to think what else I have. That's about it. That's all I need.
Yeah.
So, but no desserts for me tomorrow.
Oh, it's all about the desserts, man.
No, I mean I do enjoy apple pie a whole lot, but like for me to make a real apple pie for myself is just ridiculous.
No,
like,
it's not.
yes,
I mean, don't eat it all in one day, but
it is. And then if you get the like Marie Callender's small ones, like the frozen ones, A, they're and then B, they're like 1,000 calories.
yeah, you don't look at the numbers. It's just a bad way to be.
I do. So I am going to forego dessert tomorrow, I think. But more power to all of you.
I don't even want to think about how many fat grams are going to be in a butterscotch apple pie.
It sounds delicious, though. Like, if I was local to you, I'd totally be up there.
You wouldn't be on your noble no desserts horse.
That's true. Because it's different when you're making it for 3 people versus yourself. Like, that's a lot of pie to be consumed. And that would be my main meal for like
You could
4
make it for Knit Group.
Yeah, they're coming over tonight. Well, there's like a lot of them are out of town.
Well, I don't mean now. I just mean in general.
For next.
And then you wouldn't feel bad if, like, you had 3/4 left over.
Well, but it would probably not be good after a week.
A pie would last a week in your house?
But it would be a week before my next, like, Thanksgiving is Thursday, Knit Group's Wednesday.
I have a 12-year-old
Well, I'm
boy,
saying
so nothing lasts in my
last a
house.
week.
I can buy a gallon of orange juice, and in 3 days, it's gone.
You have like a 12-year-old, though.
I know!
But I would be happy to last 3 days.
He's a bottomless pit. Like, I have to specifically tell him if I buy something for me that's a treat. Like, Michael knows. I don't buy much for myself that I don't want anybody else eating. But if it's like Ben & Jerry's Cherry Garcia, you know it's hands off. And I had bought some like 3 weeks ago, and I put it at the top of the freezer. Like, that's my spot where my secret stuff goes. And I went to get it the next night, and it was gone. And I yelled at Michael, too. I was like, why'd you eat my ice cream? And he's like, what ice cream? And I went and asked Kobe. I said, did you eat my ice cream? He was like, yeah, I didn't know it was yours. So now I have to specifically tell him if I don't want him to eat something.
You need to label stuff. He'll be hands off.
Then he'd have to stop long enough to read
it. Before he devours it. A T-Rex.
Okay, we've been talking for like an hour and a half. So
yeah, and I have to clean before Knit Group. So
okay, well who's coming tonight?
I think just Gail and maybe Lowell.
Well, tell
Eloise
them
is out of town. She went to Atlanta.
Tell them hello for me then.
Joanne's out of town too. And Jamie, I think, is out of town as well. Anyway.
Well, I'm going to hopefully get this up tonight. I don't know how many of you guys will watch it before tomorrow, but we hope you have a happy Thanksgiving if you're in the U.S. And we'll see you again in like 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
So.
Because we're lazy. Bye. This is Laura from the Knit Girls. I am super happy that I am getting to show you Acrework Studio. So if you are a spinner, you need these bobbins. They are super cool and they fit a whole bunch of systems. I have them for my Lendrum, for all my shucks, and also my Hansen with the lace flyer and the big flyer. And I secretly got one for my Shocked Reefs. So I have a prototype for my Shocked Reefs, which is super exciting. If you follow me on Instagram, I posted a picture of it the other day, and it was awesome. It was like a magic bobbin. I could fill it in an hour. So it was super, super cool. And this is where all the magic behind the bobbins takes place. Oh, Jessica, you put your new Hansen lace bobbin on your wheel? You are going to love it. It is amazing. They're so lightweight that you can add so much twist. Very cool. I do get to do all the cool stuff, Linda. It's because I'm so cool. So this is one of the MakerBot printers, and it's making a bobbin right now. It adds layer by layer, so they're super busy. And there is, let me take some steps back. Check this out. Look at all those printers.
So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One is not working. It's been kind of taken apart for parts, but there's all this stuff, and then you can see all the cords that they use to make them. And then over here, they're putting together orders. And there's Aiden. So if you guys have questions for Aiden, you can ask, and we will try to answer them. I will read them to him. You do need to order bobbins for your matchless. And if you get bobbins for your matchless, if you get another wheel, like a sidekick or a ladybug, they fit all of them. And look, there's the, are those the little whales? Yes. There's the new little whales. Pre-threading.
Here's one that's done.
Oh, and there's one that's done.
Check out the crimp on the end, special crimp.
There's a special crimp on the end? No, I have to see.
It has to grab the yarn just so. That's the hardest part.
Yeah.
That is the hardest part, is getting the crimp on. That's funny. And then he also has hedgies too. So I don't know if they would fit the electric eel wheel. That's actually on my list of wheels to try out. You'll have to let me know how the wheel works. I know these are just orifice hooks, so they'll work with any wheel. And they're super long. I don't know about the electric. It's a cool looking wheel.
I can't remember the bobbin size. Maybe close to a Montreal size, but I don't remember.
And then there's all the bobbins. So this design is,
That's the bike tire.
that's the bike tire, and this one is,
That is Lotus.
as I break all the
That's
things.
the forest
pretty.
green and Lotus. Yeah.
And then there's this bright orange. This is like Tennessee orange.
It is. Yeah, marigold. We can't say Tennessee, but that's our marigold that's secretly like volunteer orange.
There's another lotus.
Yeah, Lotus has been very popular. We've been
It's really pretty.
very pleased with the response. And that was actually Evanita's idea. Our friend Evanita online looked at the sunflower and then said, you know, if you kind of truncated the sunflower, we have a...
Marigold is
So there's all these colors that you can get your bobbins in. I'm showing them upside down.
Oh, yep. These are actually going to become work surfaces that we can use.
Oh, cool.
That kind of tell us which tube sizes to use for different things, the different colors. But they'll actually cover the table over there.
Oh, so as they assemble, they can see exactly what they need.
Yeah. It starts to become really easy to forget now that we have all 6 of the patterns.
That's a lot of different patterns.
But
And then
yeah,
you also have the
Evanita-
spindles, too.
Exactly, yeah. But unfortunately, not as many of those quite yet. Yeah, Evanita pointed out that if you look at that middle part of the sunflower before the inflection point where it twists outward, then that could become this.
Very cool.
So
That's how a bobbin's designed.
exactly, as with most of our best ideas, they came from people's good ideas. They told us.
And then I see spindles down here.
Yes.
So I'm going to show you all a sneak peek at all the spindles. Do you want to show people how the spindles get assembled?
Sure, yeah. Well, how they get put together, the first thing is they come off the printer looking like that, where it's got all the features, but it won't spin very well because it doesn't have any weights in it.
Okay.
So it's not much of a flywheel until you add the stainless steel weights. And then, go back over here.
So you can see the weights
Yeah, the
right there.
so these are 5mm diameter dowel pins, and they're different lengths for the different sizes of spindle.
So for y'all who might not know a whole lot about spindle spinning, the more weight you add to your spindle, the thicker you need your singles to be to support that. So you can, but the longer they'll spin, the heavier that they are.
And I'm not putting my hands on a geranium at this moment, but the 5-fold ones, the medium size of that one ends up being heavier than the large size of the trillium. So you can get a lighter weight, larger moment of inertia with the trillium, or a smaller, kind of longer spinning one with the geranium. And then they go together. So here's the carbon fiber shaft with the hook, and then the hub slides over, and you've got just kind of a friction fit. These little balls here are kind of springy because there's actually a rubber grommet embedded inside there.
Okay.
So the grommet, while simultaneously giving you the friction you need to grip the shaft, also gives you the springiness that you need for it to go in here and click into place.
Very
And
nice.
so then it's
And I've spun on these a ton, guys, and they will spin for forever. They are great. And you can also kind of, if you're doing fly on the fly, you can wrap your fiber that while you spin more before you ply it around one of these arms, and then you can ply it on the fly real fast. So it's great that way as well.
So,
Very cool. Do y'all have any questions for Aiden while I'm standing here? Aiden is secretly a wizard.
Secretly a wizard.
He has a wizard hat on right now. You just can't see it because I'm facing the very cool products. He knows his stuff. So there's all those printers. He was showing me a bunch of other printers. There's a whole rest of this workshop back here.
You should show the antique lathe over here.
Okay, there's an antique lathe over here.
We believe it's about 60 years old.
So,
Yeah.
very, very cool stuff.
And so all the bobbins actually, every one of the bobbins gets turned down after printing and assembling. It all gets turned on here so that the hull and the outer mating surface, they're all perfectly concentric, all coaxial with the center axis of the tube.
Okay, so questions.
Yes.
The first is, how are you going to add any more colors? I'm guessing that's like a supply-demand type thing.
Kind of. Yeah, there are.
I'm going to actually show you.
There are more colors out there. Partly it's just the logistics of what we can manage here. Having 20 now starts to be really hard to manage. So there's that kind of trade-off. But honestly, anytime we see one that really strikes our fancy, we tend to get grabby hands, and
I would get grabby hands totally too.
so suddenly we'll have a 21st color before you know it.
And then someone asked if you are planning on doing some for the Ashford Kiwi.
The Ashford Kiwi, I think we've just done. I'm trying to remember. Ashfords are hard to remember which is which. Is that the one with the sliding hook flyer?
I do not know.
Okay, so
y'all could not see that crazy face that I just made.
Here's what I know about Ashfords, is that there are the standard or kind of original Ashford bobbins, and we've just...
Oh, she said it is the sliding hook.
Okay, so the dirty secret with the sliding hook flyer bobbin for the Ashford is we sort of already make them. A half dozen of our customers have placed special requests. I hesitate to say this because I know it's probably just going to bring more special requests, but that's okay.
We're creating more work for Aiden, y'all.
Yeah, people have had good results with, it's actually a Majacraft-sized bobbin with an Ashford-sized hole, like it's a smaller diameter hole in a Majacraft-sized bobbin.
Okay.
And so people are having great luck with those. I think I do want to do a more formal testing with them, just to confirm that it works on all the different models, and that's always the hardest thing, is just knowing it works on one. You can't really be sure.
So if they want to find out more information about your stuff, you have an Acreworks group on Ravelry, for sure.
And people there who know way more than I do about the cross-compatibilities and everything.
And then you also have a website, because someone asked me where you could get your stuff.
Oh,
and Acreworks.com has all his products. He will also be at SSK this year, because we are super lucky, and he agrees to come to SSK for us. So
it's a special thing.
It is. Java Jenny wants to know how the knitting audio is coming along.
Oh, Java Jenny. Oh, I can't even tell you. It is more exciting than words or videos can express.
So it's coming out sometime in the future. And then someone asked about plans for a Turkish spindle.
Yes. So I love Turkish spindles. They're extra geeky, I think.
I love them.
Yeah,
They're my favorite to spin on, besides yours.
Well, thanks. You didn't have to say that.
I love your spindles, and my kids geek out over your spindles. When I do my demo for the kids, they just love them.
That's fun.
Everyone's like, Turkish!
Yeah, I love Turkish spindles. I feel like the Turkish spindles are sort of really well associated right now in the sort of colorful plastic world.
Yes.
With the Turtle-Made spindles.
I agree with that.
She's doing a beautiful job of it, and I think we're all lucky that Jen's out there making those cool products.
So you should check out her stuff.
Go check out Turtle-Made. Jen Kimmery, I think her name is.
She's on Etsy.
Yep. So those are really cool. But I'm not saying we won't never ever make one. I'm just, at the moment, our hands are pretty busy with other things.
Yeah, with all the stuff behind me that's being made.
Exactly. So someday, Turkish, yay.
Any other questions for Aiden, guys? I'm actually going to put this up on YouTube too, because I think this is worthwhile to share with everyone. So I will make sure that Leslie, because she is the technology person, gets it up on YouTube as well if I email it to her. Anything else before we go? I am super lucky to be here, and
Thanks for coming.
Aiden was so sweet. I'm going to show you all the printers one last time. This one has orange in it, but, oh, you could only see half? I'm sorry. Yeah, you better place your order now, because now he's going to be super busy, so you better go ahead and place it now. So this is the one that's got a donor card. That's the cool thing about this place, is they have all these little funny things that are super fun. And then there's some more spindles being made.
Actually, that's a shot.
That's a shot. That's awesome. And then here's the purple. That's a large bobbin, whatever that one is.
That's going to be a standard pencil. We're actually really, we've got our, everything
Oh,
is
everything's on a clipboard.
Yeah. Okay,
You're
so
so
that's
fancy.
That's actually Willy Winder Hansen in the Kirby Spokes pattern.
There you go.
We
And
used to
then-
do that on Post-it notes, and before that we did it all from memory. This is better.
This one's gorgeous. This is a hot pink. It's really pretty. And then this is like an orchid.
Yep.
Is that color? See, I spend too much time and money at Acreworks. No, I don't think there is such a thing. And then down here, there's something different being made.
Those are actually all the caps.
And those are the end
End
caps.
caps to the tubes.
Oh, cool.
So it's making 12 dozen of those all at once. And that'll take 5.5 hours.
Wow. Okay. So I will see y'all next time. Have a great week. We are going to record a podcast this week. It's going to be a little bit late because, as you can see, I'm in Knoxville. So I'll talk to y'all later.